to the happy life that you want and that you deserve is to allow the contrast to continue to hatch new desires within you. In fact, those are not exactly the best chosen words, because you can't help but allow the contrast to cause your desire to expand, because it's just going to happen. You can't slow that down. That momentum you started even before you came into this physical body. That's why you came into this physical body. So that's a long time momentum that you're not going to slow down. You're hatching desires constantly. But there is a big question. Are you keeping up with the desires that are being hatched from the life that you're living? Are you keeping up with it? Which means, do you ask for something, I'd like more money, and then do you contradict that desire all day long with facts? Don't have enough, never had enough, don't know anybody who's got enough, tired of not having enough, wish I had more, not fair that I don't have enough, life is hard. If you're contradicting your desire with statements of fact, now we really want you to hear that, because what is always 100% of the time contradicts the newest leading edge desire that you have launched. What is always contradicts what's in the process of becoming, because what's in the process of becoming is uniquely new. So anytime you're focused upon what is, you're slowing down what's coming. Now, let's be clear about this. By the what is that we just meant just now when we said what is, that what is the what is that you usually mean when you say what is, which is what is already materialized, what is already manifested, or a better way of saying it is, what is it that other people can see about my life experience? What has materialized, manifest, actualized to the point that we are interpreting it through our physical senses? So there is so much of what is in your vibrational reality. There's so much that you have vibrationally become. First and second step in the deliberate creative process. You launched the rocket, you asked, and source became it and realized it and is realizing it and is holding the vibrational frequency of it. But you've got to do the third step. You've got to bring yourself into vibrational compliance, vibrational alliance, vibrational resonance, vibrational beingness with that. So if you're asking for more of something that you want, or less of something that you don't want, if you're asking for an improvement in your life experience, you have launched the rocket. It has happened, and it is a vibrational reality. But if you are facing the facts of what is and speaking words about it, joining chat groups about it, talking to your sister about it, if you're talking to anyone, even yourself, about what is, you're slowing down the becoming of what is vibrationally there, ready for you, queued up for you. So sometimes you say, well, I want to control the way I feel, so I will look at the best of conditions. And we say it's a pretty good choice, because sifting through life and looking for things that cause you to feel good is better than sifting through life and focusing on things that cause you to feel bad, because feeling good matters, it does. But there is a trap in that almost all humans fall into. It's the conditional love trap. It's the, I focus on that condition and I feel good, and I focus on that condition and I feel bad. So I will do my best to control the conditions around me so that I'm mostly only focusing on the conditions that feel good. In a way, Esther's doing that, looking for the comedy on the airplane. She's looking for something that will cause her to feel good. But we want you to understand that there's a big difference in looking for something that then affects the way you feel, and at an earlier stage in your process today, finding yourself in a place of alignment from which you then realize the things of your environment. We're going to say that again. What we mean, and what we really want to talk about in the hours that we are together today, through the format of anything that's important to you, is that if you are looking at the conditions that feel good, and then you do feel good, but then you look at the conditions that don't feel good, and so you feel bad, you have no control over the way you feel other than to attempt the futile attempt of controlling the conditions. You cannot do that. Your world tries. First, you try to get them to see your way, and if they don't, then you contain them in some way, still trying to get them to see your way. And if they don't, then you want to drop a bomb on them. You need them, it seems. You need others to comply with your view of the world. Otherwise, your view of the world seems threatened. But we want you to understand that you have an individual view of the world that is being reflected back to you, and that you are realizing it constantly. And you don't need one other person to agree with you on your view of the world, but the entire universe will confirm what your view of the world is. And the way you create your own reality is by generating a vibrational frequency that is being emitted every waking hour. And so as you are emitting this frequency, momentum ensues. Law of attraction makes sure that it does. As you emit the frequency, law of attraction brings you more like it and brings you more like it. And then you say, see, I told you that's the way it is. Because what I thought was going to happen manifested all around me. And the reason that it manifested all around you is because you are emitting a frequency that will not allow it to be otherwise. Everything that is coming to you is coming specifically to you because of what you are emitting. We want to help you to understand that yes, you create your own reality, and yes, you can control the vibration that you're offering, and yes, if you do it in the early stages of momentum, it's easier. The thing we most want you to understand is that while you are sleeping, your momentum subsides. So every morning when you awaken, you have the opportunity to begin the momentum the way you want it to begin. You can send it off in the direction of your desire. Sometimes, usually, often, every morning when you wake up, we're so funny. When you wake up in the morning, often you begin the thought process from where it was before. It's sort of like reorienting yourself. Oh yeah, here I am. Esther quite often is wondering where she is when she wakes up. Bathroom is hard to find when it's in a different place every day. So you wake up and you orient yourself about where you are. And then you usually begin the activation of the things that were going on yesterday, which means there is a continuum from day to day that doesn't change, but it could if you wanted it to. So it's interesting as we visit with you delicious humans, because you are extensions of source energy, and you are constantly expanding, and you are so much more than you know that you are. You are vibrationally and universally and spiritually, and in terms of who you really are, so much more than you usually realize that you are. And the reason that you usually do not realize, and we're going to loop back around and really talk about what realize is, the reason that you don't realize who you really are is because you're so busy realizing who you have been, because what is, in terms of manifestation, is past tense. How you doing? Well, this is the result of what I've been flowing vibrationally, and it's really not what I want to talk about because it's old news. Well, how much money do you have in the bank? That's irrelevant because it's old news. Well, how you doing at work? Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Oh, but you should see the rockets that I've launched about that. I'd like to talk about what I've actually created and what's actually in the process of becoming, because that's old news. And that's what we want you to know, that your vibrational reality is full, not only of new, but specifically chosen by you, details that will thrill you as you allow them in their newly molded, newly expanded, newly evolved, newly cooperatively componentedly. In other words, law of attraction has already brought all the pieces that you put there into something really wonderful, and is constantly delivering to you a path by which you may realize them. Esther will never forget her first awareness of the hills in San Francisco. She could not believe people were actually crazy enough to live on those hills, and even more, drive up and down them. She couldn't believe it. Imagine being at the top of one of those hills. You've got your car, you're behind the wheel, and just for fun, you decide that you will see what happens. So you take the car out of gear and you take the parking brake off, and you get out and you stand behind the car, and just to see what will happen, you push it just a little bit. And it begins to move ever so slightly in the beginning toward the bay below. And then you realize you know what's going to happen because you've been around for a while. So you stand out in front of your car and you let it bump up against you, and the momentum subsides. It was simple and easy to do in the beginning. But you would not want to be at the bottom of that hill stopping that momentum. And yet that's the way so many people attempt to control their experience. They pay no attention to the way they feel, so they're not getting early indications of what their momentum is. And they allow their momentum to get going until it begins manifesting in ways they don't want, and then they decide to do something about it. But the thing about that is, when you know what you don't want, and so you step forward in order to do something about this thing that you don't want to happen, what happens is, without even meaning to, you activate more of what you don't want to happen in your vibration. And as you activate more of what you don't want to happen in your vibration, more of what you don't want to happen happens, because law of attraction says that it must be so. So Esther was thinking the other day, I know I have a lot of beliefs. There are a lot of things that Jerry and I discovered together about our life, about our work, about the world. She said, I wonder if I've got beliefs that are not serving me, that I just keep carrying forward because it's the habit. And so she started then evaluating this situation through the beliefs that she held, because it's quite easy to get set in your ways, isn't it? It's quite easy to decide, well, that always means that, and that always means that. It is easier to have policies. It is easier to be set in your ways. It is easier to have decided things. But you didn't come as a regurgitator. You didn't come to accept a bunch of rules or requirements or regulations or beliefs that others have established. You didn't come just to accept them and focus upon them and prove the validity of someone else's beliefs. You are the creator of your own reality. You came to prove the validity of your beliefs. You came to allow the universe to show you, first of all, your worthiness, your deservability, your blessedness, how you are loved. First, that's what you came to remember. And next, you came to utilize this time-space reality with all of its variety, all of its contrast, all of its pieces and colors and textures, all of the deliciousness of this time-space reality. You came to use this palette of sight and sound and feel and taste. You came to experience your version of all of this as a creator, not as an observer. As a creator, not as a regurgitator. As a creator. So, do you know you create your own reality? No, you don't really. No, really. Do you know how you create your own reality? You don't really have a clue, do you? You have no. Do you know that you're a vibrational being? Oh, come on, Abraham. Talk to me in ways that I can really understand. You create your own reality. And you create your own reality because you are perceiving through your perspective. And your perception causes you to offer a vibrational frequency that law of attraction is responding to. And it doesn't matter what words you say, because the universe is not listening to your words. The universe is listening to your vibration. And it doesn't matter how sweetly you smile as you offer the words. Doesn't matter. Because the universe does not hear what you say. The universe hears what you mean. And what you mean is known by you when you start paying attention, because you can feel what you mean. Your emotions, in fact, are one of the most important preliminary manifestations. You kind of get that? When you feel something, isn't it real? Even if you're watching a movie that isn't real, the emotion that you feel is. If the movie causes you to feel vulnerable, you have created a vibration within yourself that this emotion is indicating. So you can say to your frightened child, honey, it isn't real, but that's not true. Because whatever you are feeling is the most real. It's the manifestation of what you've got going on vibrationally. And if you keep it up, if you keep that feeling going steadily, chronically in your experience, things will actualize around it.